we got drips. Yeah, it's not very good. You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. So there was some comments on previous videos that the corn wasn't that tall. So I figured I'd stop and we'd look at some. So it's all tasseling out now. I'd say 50–60% of our corn's tasseled and it's building ears. What we need now is some heat. But with that being said, let me drop one of these and we'll find out. Figured I'd get one that's next to the other one. Alrighty. We'll lay this down. And now this is a little challenging with one hand. Should have brought the head mount for it. Okay, we're at the end. Okay, there's the tassel, just under 10 foot. So I'm sorry, I was just under 10 foot when I said, how tall do you think this is? Granted, there's some up there that's even taller, but I figured I'd walk right in and take representative sample of how tall it is. So we got corn that's 10 foot right now, building baby ears, which is what we like to see. I only see one as of right now on everything. So there's an ear coming out. So what we need now, since we've got 12 inches of rain in the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we need heat. Hopefully this week it'll give us heat and we'll be able to, you know, make some actual corn. Height, really, it's part of it. But you want thick stalks and big ears. Big ears are, I don't know, 40–50% of what the actual plant weight is. So plus in the grain, that's a big part of making quality feed. So I figured I'd stop here. On my way by, it stopped raining enough that I can get out and not get soaked. But we're gonna jump to the shop. We got a lot of work to do. So I appreciate you guys watching along, and we're gonna go dive into the truck. Well, it ran last time. It said it had no oil pressure, which really makes me nervous, but we definitely have oil coming out of places. Gonna switch the sensor, see what that happens. Otherwise, that is the line, the wires that I ran behind here that I was nervous on, and a buddy said, be real careful, you can pinch those. So maybe I pinched it, which if I did, we'll pop it off, we'll see. But we'll switch that sensor out, ran to Tux, got that, and got this horn, because as you see, there's no connection here any longer. Freaking rust and salt in the weather. So, alrighty, well, let's see what we can do today, how much more progress we can do. We got to load tunes. Nobody had the V-clamp that clamps to the turbo. I don't know where mine is. I'm sure it's in the most obvious spot, but I don't have it. So I overnighted one. Yeah, but that's not a huge thing. Like the truck can run, move, and things like that. We got to get all the front done and stuff like that, but let's toss this little guy in and see where we get to. Change that sensor. We will see. Oil pressure. Now we're good. Problem I got going on though, I don't have my front mount, so all my transmission oil comes out. So much happier that we got oil pressure. I was nervous. So it's a bad sensor, which you gotta think, they took that block and they cleaned it. And they cleaned it and then it sat and that sensor just went bad. Whew. I was nervous. I was really nervous, especially because the guys at the machine shop were like, hey, make sure it has oil pressure before you start it up. And I'm like, okay. Alrighty, we're in a much better boat. We got oil pressure. Getting that clamp hopefully tomorrow. The horns I'm not worried about. We do got to get this whole front because in order for me to run it, I got to have all that on. So I guess I'll keep working forward on this. Can put the fan, can put the radiator, the intercooler. I think I can put all that stuff on first before I put this on. I think. And then we'll use the brackets to hold it. Maybe. Little fan action. Hey, they labeled it front. I was gonna say, I don't know which side's which. Gotta find the bolts for this. They're in the bags over there. Whew! We are gaining. Appreciate everybody watching along on this. So, trying to keep my daily uploads going. And this is a big part of getting done so that we can get back to farming. Since this channel isn't just wrenching with Duffy. Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Right side up or upside down?
I don't know. Alrighty, we are gaining. I got the fan on. We got oil pressure. We're doing good there. Next step. Oh, loaded the tunes on the truck, so we're good there. Everything was happy. Did the horn. That was from way before. It had corroded. Where's my old one? See my old one? Had corroded off. So, did that, which also I had to redo the end of the fitting. So we're good there. New horn, sounds great. How's it sound? Perfect. Andy's here too. We got to get the intercooler and my radiator in. So we're going to go ahead and struggle with that and just toss it right in there. GoPro, stop recording. Oh. It's not that heavy. We're just faking it. It's just... No, it's pretty heavy. Alrighty. So the Mishimoto intercooler and stock radiator. Just got to pick it up and they
move it over this now.
Yeah. It sits down.
You want to
in the holes.
You want to clean off some of this fluid?
Yeah, maybe it should. We honestly forgot to say GoPro start recording, so it's in. Really wasn't that bad.
Oh shit, that's a spider.
That's a spider right there. Oh, just the end of the connection. Oops. What's the oil at? Shut it off.
It was like about 80.
80 psi? Okay. We don't have any leaks. It's running rough because none of the air is hooked up and it's got no boost going to it.
Yeah.
So it has no idea what it's pulling through it. But it runs. Yeah, it runs. It's got, looks like a pickup. Definitely looks like a pickup. Little things to go. A lot of little things. Much better boat than we were 2 hours ago. Sweet. Alrighty. I guess I'll catch you guys next time I film in this truck. I think you'll get a chopping videos in between. A lot of little things to do. It's mostly done. Little things, intercooler piping and downpipe, front grill, lights, stuff like that. Thing that I am struggling with is, let me see if I can slide in and show you. Put the light on. Right there is a clip that goes on there. And it's the lower radiator hose. So that clip holds it in there. The other day I saw it. I was like, okay, lower radiator clip. I had it in a box or something. I must have picked it up and moved it, because I can't find it now. And we've looked and we've looked and we've looked and we just can't seem to find it. Yeah, the shop's a mess, but it would be only in a few spots, I think. Well, it'll be in the last spot I look, I'm sure. But with that being said, I called the dealership. I said, okay, I need one. The guy goes, okay, I see what you're talking about. And he goes, I don't stock that. And you got to buy the whole hose. And it's $200. So, with that being said, he goes, you better keep looking. I said, yeah, $200 for a little clip. I'm hoping I didn't like set it somewhere like up here or down in the bottom, but I think I would have noticed that because I wiped everything down. So I don't know. I got my hood in here, which is in my way right now, but I gotta dig through some stuff before I start cleaning things up. It was sitting, I thought it was sitting in that, and I must have picked it up and moved it just enough. Yeah, disorganized. Definitely disorganized. There's some guy that runs his mouth on the videos all the time and says how I'm so disorganized and don't know what I'm doing farming. I might not know what I'm doing farming, but I'm still giving it a go. Yeah, this has just been one of those things that dragged on too many projects, so that is why it's like this. Well, after cleaning, well, removing junk, everything in that box is junk. That's from the skid steer motor. I just held on to it. We started using it as like a don't throw out yet box, but I think it's all ready to throw out. I'm wandering around here and I brought something over. I brought that over here, which is my brother's. He uses it to lift up trucks to undercoat the frame, to oil the frames. I went to throw this away. I was like, oh, that's empty. There's the clip. I would have, yeah, I would have not been happy if I spent $200 and I got done and went to put the hood bolts in that are sitting on either side of the cowl there, and I found that clip. So now we can put that back on, and all that is your lower radiator hose clip. So, there we go. That's all it is. And then it can't pop itself back out. So yeah, we can fill it with coolant, which hopefully we don't have any leaks. We got drips. Yeah, it's not very good. Okay. What is leaking? This is my concern. Radiator has a hole in it. Should have filled it with water first. I did dump a bunch of water and after to look at it. Coming right out of it. That's not good. So I've always wanted a Mishimoto radiator because they're just better build quality. My intercooler, which is behind here, that is Mishimoto, but my radiator is not. But with that being said, I'm trying to leave. So today is Sunday. I'm trying to go on a trip on Wednesday. So I don't have time to order a Mishimoto, which I'd rather do that. So we're just going to go with a factory one. And maybe someday I'll upgrade to a Mishimoto. Good thing is, AutoZone has one. Got to go to Somerville. But also can get some good food while I'm in Somerville. So I'll wash up and commandeer my mother's vehicle, because going into the city with mine is... Hey, where did you just come from? You came from over there. What were you doing? You want to go on a trip? You a good boy? You've been living it up? Okay. Alrighty, I'll clean up. We'll jump into the city. Perks of living near population. There's a lot of things available as far as dealerships for non-ag stuff, but like hydraulic line cylinders, diesel rebuilders, transmissions, truck parts, all of that stuff. So living 25 minutes from Boston, there's just everything. Second perk, really, really good food everywhere you go. Well, a lot of availability of really, really good food everywhere. So I guess I get both of that today. In previous videos, people have said, why don't you move west? Why don't you do that? They're going to sell all your land that you run. A lot of the land we actually run will never get built on due to they sold the building rights or it's under conservation, things like that. But it is a thing that we're losing land as more and more people build houses and sell off their property or whatnot. But our town's very strict on house lots, keeping open space available or open space open, things like that. So it's unique, but definitely gives us opportunity to have ice cream stand, sell compost, interact with the public, things like that. We wouldn't do a lot of that stuff if we lived in farm country, and we wouldn't have the same financials as where we're at now. Not saying we're rich, but just milking cows is a very big struggle, and a lot of people know that. So having your eggs in different baskets in case one basket breaks definitely helps us out in times like that. Such as we did cranberries and that fell apart. If all we did was raising cranberries, we would be in a very bad boat right now because of how the market ended up. Almost into Boston. It's a gray, nasty looking day. At least it's not raining. I don't think it's going to rain again. I think we're actually good for a few days of no rain, which would be nice. I did commandeer my mom's car because going into the city in my work van isn't that much fun. Usually if it wasn't foggy, that Boston's right there, all the skyscrapers, I can see them. I don't think you'll be able, maybe you'll see them on GoPro. It's pretty good. So, but yeah, looked it up. AutoZone had it here. Granted, there's, I don't know, 30 AutoZones closer, but this one or Framingham, and I figured I'd go here and then I'd swing through and get food. So I don't know if this is Charlestown yet or not, like the movie The Departed. And what's the bank robber movie? I should know. Wow, The Town. Can I go right on red? I guess so. Stop. Got the goods. Yeah, go ahead to move up to the front. We won't tell Grandma about that. So I'm in there and they're like, oh, what's this on? And we start talking and they're like, what's your Instagram? So if you're not following the Instagram, Duffy C91, it does get a lot more content than, well, it gets all day long. It gets behind the scenes. Like, here we are. But alrighty, next stop, gonna jump across, get some food for everybody. So with barbecue, I'm very picky on what I like. Brooks Barbecue, Oneonta, New York, pulled pork, phenomenal. I really like Red Bones. Ribs. So St. Louis, ribs, absolutely fire. So I figured we'd stop and we'd all get food. And I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what we got. Red Bones, it's takeout only right now. Used to be an awesome little, well, it will be back. Frickin' COVID. So Somerville Red Bones Barbecue, it's awesome. It used to have like a bump and basement little like set up, and then up top was like southern tables and whatnot. Mini truck. So we'll get out of here. Yeah, a lot. They've actually catered for us years and years ago, but there's Red Bones. They got a few cars that bounce around. Really enjoy it. I like good food. A little weed pressure up front here where stuff didn't grow, but woo-hoo! This corn looks good. Definitely looks good. You can see where I hit it with the cultivator. I'm learning. I don't know. Somebody told me my measuring's off, but if I'm 6 foot, my hand's at 7, that's gotta be 8 in some spots. It definitely cleans up a lot better once you get into this. That's some good looking corn. Look at that, 2 ears coming on. Whew. Yeah, I'm excited. And the stuff up in the front here wasn't as good as the stuff in the back, so you can only imagine. I'll be happy when I get in chopping it and hopefully get some reward on it. But we're still like 2 months off. What's today? Yeah, middle of September. But for year 1, we're doing okay. This was a driveway too, right through here. So I never expected it to do that well. Years of not getting anything and just being compacted. Well, looking good. I'm happy with it. Looks good in there. Starting to tassel. Close to uniform, the ends, even the headlands or end rows or whatever you want to call them. Those are all, it grew some. So learning, definitely learning. But alrighty, I figured I'd stop there because it was like a mile out of my way on my way home from the city. So still got the food back there. It smells so good. I wish there was like a ability to add smell to videos. That would be a weird world when there is. But what'd you get, Tama? Got some coleslaw, cornbread. What'd you get? Here we go. St. Louis ribs, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy, and some brisket. Yeah, that's easier with 2 people. Oh yeah, how did I not see that had happened? Oh. It's a pain. Yep, something smashed into that. I'm not sure what it was over the last 8 months, but yeah, smashed and wrecked those. These older plastic ones, or I mean newer plastic ones, are nowhere near as good as the old ones that they'll rebuild and they'll last forever. Taking that out by myself was challenging. Putting it back in, I'm definitely going to need a hand because I don't want to wreck anything. I kind of just pulled that one up, but we'll get the other one out of my mom's car here. We got to put the fittings in the transmission line. And I did pop it open while I was there. It looked right. So we'll see. Old part, new part. It actually has all the transmission lines on there. So everything's ready to rock and roll. We just got to slide it in.
Careful, you got it?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Nothing is held, nothing.
Got all the plumbing on. Other than the front clip and the hood, this is looking like a truck. Whew, gotta get the cover on. I do have broken bolts. Maybe they'll stay off till we get those bolts out. But all the plumbing's on for the turbo, for coolant. The only thing I came across that we're having difficulties with, the O-ring that I put on the return from the cabin, from the heater core. The O-ring that goes down into the block is not the right one, and it's got a slow drip. So I haven't put the downpipe on because you need that off to get to that bolt. I'll get one tomorrow, call the dealership in the morning, and then we'll be able to do downpipe and exhaust back. Well, exhaust is already there, just downpipe connected to the exhaust, which is a clamp, 2 sensors, and 3 bolts down at the bottom. But with that being said, we are to the point where probably should run it for a few minutes and just see what goes on. I gotta pick up. Yep. Well, it runs. Most of the front clips on. I got bolts to do on the bumper on the bottom, the pins to go in, fog lights to hook up, then start buttoning up wheel wells. The only thing we're missing is that O-ring on the coolant. I'll get one tomorrow. I'll call Tux in the morning on my way to work, and then we got to throw the downpipe on, put the hood on, and out she goes. So I was hoping this video, you guys would get a, you know, driving out of the shop, we're all done. Little things holding me back. But overall, like, it's a truck. It is finally to this point. Runs good. It starts up a little rough, and I don't know if that's because of the bigger injectors. Sometimes it starts great, sometimes it's a little rough, and then it goes right out. Injector balance and everything else like that's good. So we will see. We got to get it out. We got to get it running, or break it in, make sure everything's good there. Got to put fluid in everything. Got to drain the oil after, I don't know, 100 miles or so. We're going to put some miles on this thing. So I appreciate you guys watching along though. This build, it's dragged on. I don't know, we're over 8 months, I think. It's absolutely filthy from sitting in here. Got to wash it off once it gets out of here. But I appreciate you watching, join along, being here for the whole build. All the comments, the support, things like that. It's been crazy. So I'm glad to see it finally coming together. And I'll see you guys in the next video. It better be out of the shop. Okay? So, have a good one.